Here are my NRL Supercoach round 1 results. And it was a 12-20 in my books for a 42,357 overall rank. And look, there were a few of my guns that didn't perform exceptionally well, and that just dropped me down away from that sort of 1,300 mark. And stopped me from having a really, really good week. And it doesn't matter too much as well, given the fact that I have left Tino and also Brimson are both on my bench as non-playing guys. So, left a little bit of cash on the bench for that one. And yeah, as I said, a few of basically the second row forward for me was a rough one, and every other position was completely fine. I had my Dogs players in Burton and Preston have 58 and 49 respectively. Hopgood with a 58, and then Seyfarth and White 36 and 43. That slowed me down, and then my hooker was Mamazelis with 37, which was completely fine. We had May and Horsburgh with 78 and 61. Cleary 68. Centre wing was good, apart from playing Jackson Purdue. It was him or Duffy in the end, and Jackson won by 1 point. But Garrick, Lucas, Marzu, and Shibasaki were my starting centre wings. Very happy with that. Turbo as my captain at 113, Ponga at 82, and Yongi with a nice try to finish for a 69. So very, very happy with a lot of players in the side. Guys like Burton, Hopgood, Preston, Seyfarth, and I don't know if White has too much extra on that price point. With that 43 in a game where it was just a lack of runs, really. I think in games it'll be a bit closer. He'll be able to run the footy a bit more and build up on those those 2-point runs. But outside of really the second row forward position, I think that the team's in a pretty good spot. And yeah, just bring in Brimson and bring in Tino, and we're sitting pretty there. And I did have Ryan Couchman and Connor Watson, and I did end up changing that to Hopgood and Charlie Geimer. So thankfully, with that one, I had Couchman obviously do his ACL, which is terrible, and I didn't get stuck with that one. I did pick up an extra 7 point, or whatever it was. I think Watson actually went up in updates, but a very similar score to Watson did Hopgood, and I do expect Hopgood to have better scores in games where they don't get trounced by 50. Expect a really nice score against the Tigers next week, and I expect improvement from a few guys on this list, and only had the 1 ton in the side. So there's going to be room to grow with certain players over the next few weeks. And what you'll see, guys, with my Supercoach videos as well as my fantasy stuff is that I go into depth on my players, my squad, my strategy, and all that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, please consider subscribing to either the podcast or the YouTube channel here. Something that I was playing around with after the Vegas games was bringing in Brimson and potentially moving him to 5/8 and removing Metcalf from the side. I'm looking into that now. I do want the hot tamale train, and he's going to be the guy that would come in if I was to trade Metcalf at this stage, and I could play Burton and Brimson in my 5/8 slot there, which will be fun. There's a few guys on this list that I'm really happy to start with. I think guys like Turbo, Ponga, Yongi, Hopgood all should have better weeks in this one coming up. Greg Marzu, a great chance to do well again. Had plenty of offloads. Garrick in a team that was flying. Lucas looks awesome. Shiba, I was very happy with that pick and playing him in that one. Rob Toy is 90. It's really these Cowboys guys. It's a bit of a worry, and hopefully they come up against some slightly easier opposition and they can score that little bit better as well. So personally, I am expecting round 2 to be a better score for me and for me to make some good ranks. And there's not too much else to say. I think there's a few guys in this second row forward position. If I was to go from Metcalf down to Tamale, leaves me about 220, 230k to muck around with in that position. And you've got guys like White, like Seyfarth that I could muck around with. But I could also leave that for this week and make some decisions and potentially boost, which I think is the likely outcome, in round 3, and just save that 1 or 2 trades this week and just bring Tino into that second row forward position. See what we do. Probably just leave White as a non-player this week and see what we do with guys like Seyfarth as well, because the rest of the squad, I think, bringing in Brimson as well. We've got guys that we could leave out, like Jackson Purdue. We could play like guys like Rob Toyer, but against the Panthers, it's probably less of an exciting one. But these first couple of weeks for Supercoach, I think we want to keep it fairly simple with our decision making. We picked a lot of these guys for a reason, so unless there was a clear change in role, or there's a guy you missed out on that you want to put in your starting team. Like if you're just going to put him on your bench, then you could probably just wait till next week and do the triple trade with the boost and make your decisions then. So this week, it could be a holding week again, as I said, unless something like that pops up for your side and you've got a glaring issue in one of your positions and you want to not play a certain guy, like whether it was, wide or safe fast, like, I don't really want to play them for their 30, or I want to improve my hooker slot and do an upgrade there. They're all definitely options that you could take. And I'm glad that Sanders Smith scored that try just to help him out with his potential cash gains over the next few weeks. So not too much to say in this one. We will go and quickly check out the leagues and where we're at. We've got the private group, JBFA overall, with a shout out to Jared, who had 1455 for a terrific early season ranking there of a 151. So shout out to Jared on that one. You also have the Podmasters overall group, who I end up in 76 out of 99. So most of the guys did pretty well in this one. So congrats to everyone in that. And also a shout out to Dave, who ended up coming second last year overall for a 1384 and continues to dominate to kick things off. And Ross in first place in the Podmasters at 406 overall. But obviously there's a lot of good scores in here in the mid 1300s. Anything above 1300 was a really good situation there. And shout out to all those guys. I think Scoop had a pretty good week as well. So he's in there at 1310. So well done to him on that one. I think he was leading our private group for a while there. And you'll see plenty of other interesting people you might know on this list as well. With Tim from SC Playbook, you've got Guru in there at 1255. So they all beat me, which is frustrating in round one. But we will bounce back. And Kane, who looks after the Podmasters, at 1234. So just beat me on that front. Most people in this crew had a pretty solid week there in this one, apart from Brandon Savage, who actually usually is in a terrific position early on and had a little bit of a tough one. And same with Jake down there. Sangster, 1158, and Rob, so the guys that look after the show. Not so good on that front at all. Clementine down there in 99th spot, so that's tough on that one. But there you go. That's the Podmasters, and we've got different private head-to-heads. We've got the Podmasters head-to-head, which I had a bit of a loss in, and put myself in a cash comp as well, and managed to sneak home with the victory with Ayongi scoring that try and increasing me just over the top, which was really, really cool. So super happy with that win in that one especially. And I think we leave it at that, guys. Very simple heading into round two. I will do my buy, hold, risk it and sell video for Supercoach on Wednesday there. Likely to be Wednesday, yep. Unsure what time in the afternoon as yet. And then I'll go through my trades as well on Thursday. Looking forward to that. So thanks so much for this one, guys. Short and sharp on the Supercoach team in terms of my results and where I'm at. And a solid start without being spectacular, and we'll come back bigger and better in round two, expecting a really nice week. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you're here for more when we come through with it in the next few videos.